In the hushed corridors of Buckingham Palace and the grand halls of Windsor Castle, a quiet but momentous chapter is being written for one of the youngest members of the British royal family. Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, the only daughter of the Prince and Princess of Wales, is destined to one day carry a title of extraordinary rarity and prestige, Princess Royal. This is not a title passed down through marriage, nor one automatically granted by birth order alone. It is a singular honor reserved for the eldest daughter of a reigning monarch, and throughout the entire sweep of British royal history spanning nearly 4 centuries, only 7 women have ever held it. Yet for all its grandeur, Princess Charlotte's path to this distinction is blocked by 2 immovable obstacles, one living, one chronological, and the story of how and why reveals the intricate, almost medieval machinery that still governs the House of Windsor. At present, the title belongs to Princess Anne, the Princess Royal since 1987. Now in her mid-70s, King Charles III's only sister remains one of the hardest-working members of the royal family, routinely completing more public engagements in a single year than most of her younger relatives combined. Royal protocol is unequivocal. There can only ever be one Princess Royal at any given time. The title is held for life unless voluntarily surrendered, an almost unheard-of occurrence, which means that for Charlotte to be eligible, Princess Anne would first have to pass away. Even then, a second and far more significant condition must be met. Charlotte's father, Prince William, must himself be king. As long as King Charles III lives and reigns, William remains Prince of Wales, and Charlotte remains simply a princess of the blood royal, third in line to the throne, beloved by the public, but without access to the highest feminine honor the crown can bestow upon its daughters. This double-layered delay explains why many royal watchers initially assumed Charlotte's future lay elsewhere, specifically with the Dukedom of Edinburgh. The title carried strong emotional resonance within the family. It had belonged to Prince Philip for more than 70 years, and in the final years of his life he made an earnest request that upon his death the dukedom should pass to his youngest son, Prince Edward, who had devoted decades to continuing his father's beloved Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme. King Charles honored that wish in 2023 when he formally created Edward Duke of Edinburgh. With that decision, one of the most obvious and prestigious paths for Charlotte was permanently closed. She will never be Duchess of Edinburgh. Instead, her destiny has been redirected towards something rarer still, the Princess Royal. The title itself is steeped in history. It was first used in 1642 when King Charles I bestowed it upon his eldest daughter Mary, who would later become Princess of Orange through marriage. Since then, only 6 others have followed: Anne, daughter of George II, Charlotte, daughter of George III, Victoria, Mary, daughter of George V, and another Charlotte, daughter of Edward VII, though she died before receiving it formally. Queen Elizabeth II's daughter, Princess Anne, became the 7th. The gap between holders has sometimes stretched for decades, underlining how infrequently the necessary constellation of circumstances aligns. For Princess Charlotte, born in 2015, that alignment may not occur until the middle of the 21st century or beyond. If King Charles reigns for another 15 or 20 years, a reasonable assumption given his mother's extraordinary longevity, and if Princess Anne continues her active life into her 80s or 90s, Charlotte could be well into middle age before the title becomes available and her father ascends the throne. Royal life, as she is already learning, operates on a timescale measured in generations rather than election cycles or corporate quarters. This patient waiting game extends to her brothers as well. Prince George, second in line, will inherit an avalanche of titles the moment his father becomes king: Duke of Cornwall, with its vast duchy estates and hundreds of millions in annual revenue, Duke of Rothesay in Scotland, and, most symbolically, Prince of Wales, the same style his father has carried since 2022 and his grandfather before him for 64 years. The Prince of Wales title is not automatic. It must be formally created by letters patent, but no one doubts that George will receive it in due course. Prince Louis, the youngest of the Wales children and currently 4th in line, 5th once his uncle Prince Harry's children are factored into certain Commonwealth succession lists, faces a more uncertain future. Tradition dictates that the second son of a monarch often becomes Duke of York, a title that has been held by 8 second sons since 1474, including both King George VI and the present Queen's father before him. The difficulty is that the current Duke of York, Prince Andrew, retains his title for life under the terms of the 1986 letters patent that created it upon his marriage. Unless Andrew voluntarily surrenders the dukedom, considered unlikely, or dies, the title remains unavailable. When William eventually becomes king, he will have several options: wait for the York title to become vacant, revive a dormant dukedom such as Albany or Clarence, or create an entirely new one for his younger son. Whatever he chooses, Louis is unlikely to receive a dukedom until well into adulthood. These arrangements are far more than ceremonial curiosities. Each historic title comes bundled with estates, investment portfolios, staff, and centuries of precedent. When Prince William married in 2011, he was created Duke of Cambridge, a title unused since the early 20th century, along with the subsidiary Scottish and Northern Irish titles Earl of Strathearn and Baron Carrickfergus. Prince Harry received the entirely new creation of Duke of Sussex in 2018. The pattern is clear. Upon marriage, senior royal men are granted dukedoms that give them both identity and financial independence. Prince George will almost certainly follow suit when his time comes. The women of the family navigate a different landscape. Catherine, Princess of Wales, will become Queen Consort when William is crowned, never Queen Regnant, a distinction Queen Elizabeth II embodied for 70 years, but nevertheless the highest feminine rank in the land. Her role will be supportive yet enormously influential, much as Queen Camilla's has quietly become since 2022. And Princess Charlotte, should she eventually accept the Princess Royal title, will step into a lineage of formidable royal women who use the honor not merely as decoration but as a platform for lifelong public service. King Charles's oft-stated desire for a slimmed-down monarchy adds another layer of intrigue. Will the next generation embrace these ancient titles with the same enthusiasm, or will some choose to forge more independent paths, perhaps keeping only prince or princess as a courtesy while pursuing professional careers? The Princess Royal designation, precisely because it is so personal, bestowed directly by the sovereign upon his or her eldest daughter, may prove more resilient than territorial dukedoms. Yet nothing is certain decades in advance. One final question hangs over the entire Wales family. What regnal name will Prince William choose? He was christened William Arthur Philip Louis. He could reign as William V, the first since the Hanoverian era, or he might select one of his middle names. King George VII would echo his grandfather and great-grandfather. King Arthur would carry a near-mythical resonance. Whatever he decides, the choice will signal how he wishes to be seen by history. For now, Princess Charlotte continues to grow up in the full glare of public affection, waving from carriage windows at Trooping the Colour, curtsying flawlessly on the Buckingham Palace balcony, and gradually absorbing the knowledge that some of the most important moments of her life, moments of elevation and responsibility, are entirely outside her control. She will need the same qualities that have sustained every successful royal for centuries: patience, duty, and an impeccable sense of timing. The British monarchy has endured for over 1,000 years precisely because it understands the art of waiting. Titles do not expire. They simply lie dormant until the precise moment the stars of birth, death, and accession align. When that moment finally arrives for Princess Charlotte, perhaps in the 2040s, the 2050s, or even later, she will step forward to become only the 9th woman in history to be styled Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal. And on that day, the little girl who once captivated the world in her mother's arms at the Lindo Wing will take her place among the most exclusive sisterhood the crown has ever known.